which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures He chose us to be high. To Him we belong, to Him is our return. Life in this world is only a sojourn. To the angels He commanded that man be respected. Shaitan he did not, and so was he rejected. Compared to the angels, we are but clay. As long as Allah we obey, we'll not go astray.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our show Islamic Law Today. Today is the first episode in Ramadan. May Allah bless us and bless this month for us. I would like to welcome, as usual, Professor Muhammad Saie. Thank you for being with us. Professor Muhammad Saie is a professor in several Islamic American universities in North America. Professor Muhammad, now we are in month of Ramadan, and there are many subjects and issues that concern the Muslims in the West, specifically in North America and Europe and the West. They have different issues and different topics regarding Ramadan, different than the people in Islamic countries. For instance, like to determine which day is the beginning of Ramadan. This is a big issue. What is your input about this?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma ya Rabbana laka alhamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhika wa azimi sultanik. Subhanaka la nuhsi thana'an alayk anta kama athnayta ala nafsik. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma as'aluka في هذه الأيام المباركات أن ترفع البلاء عن المسلمين. اللهم فرج الكرب عنا وعن المكروبين ونفس الهم عنا وعن المهمومين وفك أسر المأسورين والمعتقلين وأحسن خلاص المسجونين.
آمين.
من قضى في سبيلك وابتغاء مرضاتك فتقبله عندك شهيدا في عليين. اللهم إني أسألك في هذه الساعة المباركة أن تزلزل الأرض تحت أقدام الظالمين والمستبدين.
آمين.
اللهم هز عروشهم. اللهم شتت أمرهم واجعل تدميرهم في تدبيرهم وانصر عبادك المؤمنين واكتب الفلاح والنجاح والصلاح لأهل الإسلام والداعين إليك على بصيرة يا رب العالمين.
آمين.
واجعل هذا العيد القادم عيدا مباركا يحتفي به المسلمون وقد نصرتهم في مشارق الأرض ومغاربها، في فلسطين وفي ليبيا وسوريا وسائر بلاد المسلمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. أما بعد. Ramadan, as you know, as if it is the impact and result of the Muslim situation, does not go too far from the condition of Muslims in general. If you go to the history and maybe jump over all these stages to reach the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and go maybe after that in the first century and the second, and then you try to look deeply in the condition of the Muslims right now and to see how much we are as a Muslims, we are as a nation, wherever we are, in the West or the East, we are too far from the spirit, from the deep meanings of this Islam, generally speaking. And every kind of act of worshipping in this Islam, to take a share of this phenomenon, if we are calling ourselves if we are calling this ummah a long time ago the nation of leadership, the nation of civilization, the nation of very enhanced and advanced knowledge and thought, we can say very easy right now, and we are very comfortable of saying that we are not like used to be long time ago. And unfortunately, everything has to come as a package of this maybe condition. Even our act of worshipping, to fast Ramadan, to perform Hajj, to pray, to celebrate the Eid, as if that we have made it this way. We stick to the letters and we disregard the meanings. We stick to the outers and we ignore the inters or the inners. And Islam, as a beautiful religion, it is both inner and outer, letters and meanings. The apple, beautiful apple, as we said before, it is the skin, the color, the taste, the vitamins, the material itself, everything. So Islam like this. When we come to the issue of Ramadan, unfortunately every year, and especially in the maybe West, we have seen and experienced this kind of phenomenon of having a big dispute and big difficulties and big conflict, argument, debate about some fiqh issues, some Islamic law issues regarding Ramadan. And instead of making these Islamic law issues a key or maybe a reason to enhance our Ramadan, enhance our understanding to this month, enhance our status of our belief, our faith, our iman in this very special month, and make a progress in our life, to take this opportunity to go forward after Ramadan, to say that we have successfully finished Ramadan with the same the same understanding and very close maybe work to the work of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum wa ardahum. We are doing the opposite things. I'm talking about maybe myself, generally speaking, about many people. They are living in this century and they are practicing Ramadan in the West. We believe that this ummah deserve to have better Ramadan. This ummah does deserve to be performing Ramadan in the best shape and best condition, because we believe that this ummah still have the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We believe in our nation, we believe in our ummah, we believe in our people, we believe in mankind in general, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared this creature to receive this noble message and to deliver this noble message. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. And this kind of status of the human being has to come again and again in the shape of receiving pure understanding and delivering it at the same time while we are practicing the meanings of this issue. So from that introduction, we are able right now to put on the table some very important issues in Ramadan. Like you said in the beginning, the issue of how to start Ramadan and how to finish Ramadan, when to start Ramadan and when to finish fasting Ramadan. It does come with this issue, the issue of celebrating the Eid of Ramadan as the logically result of ending your month of Ramadan. So let us talk about this issue, inshallah ta'ala, the issue of the beginning of Ramadan, the end of Ramadan, or how to start Ramadan, when to start Ramadan and how to end Ramadan, and when to end Ramadan.
In fact, this problem happens every year, and every time the scholars speak about it, and they talk about people who are, for example, from East Asia, in North America, they refuse to be following, for example, the people who wants to follow Saudi Arabia. When in Saudi Arabia they see the moon sight, or they want to follow ISNA, or they want to follow the point of view that if we see the moon in the crescent in the United States, which one we should follow?
SubhanAllah, this is again and again to prove our point when we were talking in some of our episode about the importance of having state and authority. If you could notice that in Muslims, when they have state and authority in the Muslim countries, even they don't apply al-Islam as a complete system, but they still call themselves Muslim countries. They don't have this problem. When the Grand Mufti of Syria, Grand Mufti of Egypt, Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia, Grand Mufti of Morocco, or maybe Tunisia or Sudan declared that this is should be the first night of Ramadan, that means tomorrow is the first day of Ramadan, everyone will follow his fatwa and his confirmation of the beginning of Ramadan. They have no problem with this. Because Muslims in the West, in the state, in Canada, and some other maybe places, they don't have this kind of authority. Always they have this problem. But regardless of the deep reason of this, let us put this issue from Islamic law point of view. And we can simplify it by bringing back this issue to the old days. And the word of old days is beautiful word in America, right?
Yeah.
They said always, it's like old days.
Like the beautiful time.
Right.
Yes.
Old days is always beautiful things. And look at the old days, how Muslims in the old days, they used to fast, how they used to start the Ramadan. They were very simple, because Islam is very simple. It's very firm, very comprehensive. They heard the Prophet ﷺ saying that don't fast till you see the moon. Don't finish your fasting till you see the moon. So you start your fast. لا تصوموا حتى تروا الهلال ولا تفطروا حتى تروا الهلال. So this is like a general statement from the Prophet ﷺ. You should start your fast, your Ramadan, when you see the moon. This is the moon sighting, right?
Yes.
And they heard this from the Prophet ﷺ. They heard him saying, and don't break your fast, don't finish your Ramadan till you see the moon. So you have the moon of Ramadan and the moon of Shawwal. Now they heard this from the Prophet ﷺ. They are Arabs, very professional people in understanding the Arabic language.
Yes.
Very simple and very easy to understand and very easy to apply. They got from this statement from the Prophet ﷺ that we should wait till we see the moon of Ramadan. And we should not break our fast finishing Ramadan before we see the moon of Shawwal. They know that sometimes it's very hard to sight the moon because some natural maybe reason, clouds,
yes,
heavy rain, something like this. The Prophet, he did not leave it like this. He said, فَإِنْ غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ. Different word, فَإِنْ غَبِيَ عَلَيْكُمْ. So if anything has blocked your vision, your ability to see or to sight the moon, should be no problem. But he said, alayhi salam, فَأَكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ. Different word, فَصُومُوا ثَلَاثِينَ يَوْمًا. You should continue the
month of Sha'ban, 30 days.
You should continue the month. Because he said, alayhi salam, the Arabic month, the lunar calendar, does come all the time. Either the month is 30 days or the month is 29 days. Right? It's not like the solar maybe calendar.
Yes.
In the lunar calendar, you have the Arabic month either to have it 30 days or 29 days. He said, الشهر هكذا وهكذا. The month sometimes comes in a shape of 30 days and sometimes comes in the shape of 29 days. When he said فَأَكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ, different word, even do it 30 days, they understood that if you are in Sha'ban waiting for the moon of Ramadan, you did not see the moon of Ramadan yet. You are expecting to see the moon of Ramadan tomorrow because you are sighting the moon of Ramadan tonight before the sunset today to observe the Ramadan for tomorrow. Today is the 9th of Sha'ban means tomorrow either to be the 30 days of Sha'ban or the first day of Ramadan.
Yes.
Right? So they start sighting the moon of Ramadan and the night of the 3rd of the month of Sha'ban. That means they are in the day of the 29th of Sha'ban, before the sunset. So suppose they couldn't sight the moon of Ramadan because, as we said, many reasons. Heavy clouds, raining, wind, anything like this. So in that case, according to what they heard from the Prophet ﷺ, what they should do, they should continue the month of Sha'ban as a 30 days. And they start to calculate the first day of Ramadan after finishing tomorrow as the 30 days of Sha'ban. That means after tomorrow should be the first day of Ramadan. The same thing. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I have a question here. But sometimes, what if scientifically it's supposed to be it's 29 days, but still they couldn't see it physically with their own eyes. But scientifically, it's proven that tomorrow is the first day of Ramadan.
We'll talk about the other issue, the other side of this issue. Because I'm just trying to.
I'm sorry for interruption, but just the director just remind me that we have to go to the break. I'm sorry, we can't continue this question.
Should be no problem.
We will go for a quick break. Please stay with us.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Clear the mist from hot, from Islamic terms, to represent the words of a language using the alphabet of another language. For our purpose, it is representing Arabic words using the Latin or the Roman alphabet. By arkan salah, we mean the integrals of prayer, the essential components of prayer. How many do you think these are? Should a Muslim pay zakah on any amount of money he has? The answer is no. One of the related items to fasting is i'tikaf. Ihram simply means entering the state of sanctity. We started dealing with some fiqhi terms or some terms dealing with fiqh or jurisprudence.
The entire staff at Huda would like to wish you a wonderful and blessed Ramadan.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Welcome back. Professor Muhammad, before going to the break, the question was, what if scientifically it's proven that tomorrow is Ramadan, but the scholars couldn't see the moon? How they can solve this issue? Should they go by what the science is saying, or they ignore the science and they have to go with what they saw or did not see?
We should, in this issue, inshallah ta'ala, just put this foundation to understand the issue of Ramadan and how to start Ramadan, when to start Ramadan. We could ask this question just to make it very simple. Is the issue of starting Ramadan is a kind of act of worshipping, or is it in the field of gaining and seeking and earning sciences or educations or knowledge, like you are in the field of medicine or field of chemistry or something like this? So is Ramadan act of worshipping, or we are in a different field? If we are saying, and we should say that, inshallah ta'ala, no, Ramadan is one of the pillar of Islam.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And it is unanimously among Muslim scholars, it is like part of your worshipping.
Sure.
And you could find this issue not in the section of dealing with others, relationship with others, buying, selling, or you could find it in the section of act of worshipping.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the whole issue is how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Ramadan and through everything related to Ramadan. Starting how to sight the moon of Ramadan and how to prepare your intention to start Ramadan, how to fast the day of Ramadan, which things you should not take in Ramadan to keep your Ramadan as a valid day, and how to break your fast in the sunset when the day is finished, and how to make yourself. All these issues should be should be framed by the word of worshipping. We are now in the field of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now when someone tries to intervene by his own input and try to mix the issue of Ramadan with the issue of knowledge and education and science, claiming that Muslims always advance people, Muslims always in the very civilized situation all their time, so they should not disregard the issue of calculation in Ramadan, the issue of scientific maybe fact toward how to prove the starting of this month or ending that month.
Yes.
It is coming from the misunderstanding of the whole issue of Ramadan. We are saying, because he said that, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and we'll try to elaborate on that beautiful hadith. When someone, or even not just someone, many people, they understood that hadith in a wrong way. When he said, alayhi inna ummatun ummiya, inna ummatun ummiya, لا نكتب ولا نحسب.
If we translate this hadith,
الشهر هكذا وهكذا.
Okay.
So this hadith talking about the literal nation. Is it that we are a literal nation?
A literal.
Literal.
Okay.
We are very limited in our knowledge. That's what many people, they understood the hadith, the way they try to get the meaning of. It is wrong. The Prophet ﷺ, when he said, Inna ummatun ummiya, he was referring to the Ramadan. That hadith was introduction to the issue of Ramadan. That month of Ramadan is to be like 30 days or 29 days. So, if you are not able to sight the moon, you should make a proper or some kind of estimate, close estimate to what day you are in right now by continuing the month you are in before you receive the other month, 30 days, because he said the month is 29 days and 30 days. So if you are not able to see the moon of next month, because we are a literal nation, we are not able to calculate, we are not able to find out exactly, scientifically, where to start our month. We make it very, very simple to you, 30 days or 29 days. You are not able to see the moon, continue the month of Ramadan, or the month of Sha'ban 30 days, or the month of Ramadan before you see the moon of Shawwal 30 days. But this is not the meaning. It's not the meaning of the Prophet. It's not the deep wisdom of his saying, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Could you imagine that the Prophet is claiming that this ummah is a literal ummah, that we are, as if that we are saying that we are very backward ummah, we are very limited in our knowledge, in our capability of learning.
Yes.
When he, alayhi salam, has said hundreds and thousands of hadith sayings to call his followers to seek knowledge.
Yes.
And to earn more knowledge. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his holy book subhanahu wa ta'ala has made many verses. It's like a full of verses in the Quran Kareem to invite everyone to look and see and discover and seek knowledge. وَقُلْ رَبِّي زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. We cannot just make it a very limited proof or evidence about this issue in Islam. Islam is one of the master of this. They call for knowledge. But this is not the issue of the Prophet saying, alayhi salam, as if that he is telling us, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, O my people, you should not waste your time and disregard the great purpose of being in that month or being in the situation to receive this very blessing and a special month. We are the nation of worshipping. We are the nation of taking, receiving from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the same way the servant of God receives the order and commandment of Allah, does not go deeper and deeper or ask many questions or try to make it a complicated issue to himself. He heard Allah saying, fast, we will fast. Pray, we will pray. Sight the moon, we will sight the moon. We cannot see the moon, continue the month 30 days. So this is the great meaning of the Prophet saying, as if that he's telling us, be the nation of worshipper, the nation of worshipping. كونوا أمة التعبد إنها أمية التعبد. They call it the literal nation of worshipping, as if that you are worshipping him literally subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are worshipping God subhanahu wa ta'ala literally, without asking questions, without going deeper and deeper to try to manipulate the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or try to go around it, or try to waste your time instead of practicing and applying the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to wait and wait till you find your own answer or your own desire of finding the answer. That was the Sahaba. They received this hadith, and this is the way they applied the hadith, this is the way they practiced the hadith, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in the first generation, in the second, in the third, the fourth, the fifth, till we come to our modern time. When our modern time, we become a very backward ummah, very backward nation. In their time, they were very advanced ummah, very civilized ummah. They were the masters of those, so they were talking about stars and space and instruments and all these issues. But when it comes to the issue of Ramadan, they disregard all their knowledge, they disregard all their leadership in the field of sciences, and they start to practice the order of the Prophet ﷺ literally, receiving it, سمعنا وأطعنا. They see the moon, they fast. They did not see the moon, they continue the other months, 30 days, and they continue doing this till we have reached our time, unfortunately, when we start to hear people, because we have one of the followers of the Sahaba, his name is Mutarrif ibn Abdullah al-Shakhir, they refer to him as saying that it's okay to refer to the calculation when you are not able to see the moon in a cloudy, maybe day. This is an opinion of one of the fuqaha among hundreds and thousands of Muslim scholars in the time of the Sahaba, the followers, all of these generations. So, but that opinion was being said in the issue of if you have like cloudy days, you are not able to see the moon. So what should you do? They said that you could refer to the calculation because you are a necessity, according to his opinion. But most of the Muslim scholars, Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi'i, Abdullah, all these great scholars, he said no. We'll follow what he said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We'll rely on the vision, the very clear vision of the naked eye, sighting the moon. If we are able, if we are not able, as he said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, we'll refer to the solution, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We have the Prophet's solution, alayhi wasallam. We have the Prophet commandment. Then we have, in the case of necessities or case of excuse, we have the Prophet's solution, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. فَإِنْ غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ فَإِنْ غَبِيَ عَلَيْكُمْ فَاقْدُرُوا لَهُ. Different hadith, فَصُومُوا 30 يَوْمًا. If you are just trying to sight the moon of Shawwal, but you are not able, he said literally, alayhi wasallam, not literally, فَصُومُوا fast 30 days. So the most of the scholars, majority of the scholars, even not just majority is not a very accurate word to say majority. You could say that general scholars, except as we referred to, they said it does not matter. If you are in the case that you are able to sight the moon, you are not able to sight the moon, in both ways you have to refer to the naked vision or naked sighting. If you see, if you sight the moon, you follow your sighting. If you did not, for any reason, you follow the Prophet's solution, alayhi salam, by continuing the month you are in whether it is like Shawwal, Sha'ban, or you are in Ramadan. So if you are in the month of Sha'ban, waiting for Ramadan, sighting for Ramadan moon, you could not see Ramadan moon, continue your month, which is Sha'ban, 30 days. If you are in the month of Ramadan, waiting for or sighting the moon of Shawwal, you are not able to see it for any reason, continue Ramadan 30 days. So the issue now of calculation and sighting, you could see that beside, or the one who support the opinion of depending and relying on your Ramadan starting or Ramadan finishing or ending is vision, not calculation, is general scholars, most of the scholars. And we have in the case that you are in a cloudy day, you are not able to see the moon of maybe whether Ramadan or Shawwal, you could maybe refer to the calculation. Now some scholars, they said, what if we rely on the calculation in the case of saying it is impossible to be that day is a day of Ramadan, or that day the day of Shawwal.
To say it's impossible.
It's impossible. Not in the case of we are able to prove. So they said we could use the calculation in rejecting the possibility of sighting the moon because scientifically it couldn't be seen at that day for the next day, but not in the case of proving that tomorrow is the first day of Ramadan, or maybe tomorrow the first day of Shawwal. But I say, this is my opinion, according to what I said in this book. No, in both cases, according to most of the scholars, majority of them, we don't rely on calculation. We just rely on sighting or on the Prophet solution, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because this is how to wrap it up, because the whole issue of sighting the moon of Ramadan or starting Ramadan is act of worshipping. Those that they were relying on their vision, their naked eye, sighting the moon, they were the masters of sciences, civilizations. And now in our modern time, when we are calling upon Muslims to follow calculations, we are in the backward stages of this ummah.
Let me ask you, who in the United States or in Europe look for the moon sight and say, okay, in the United States, tomorrow is Ramadan?
MashaAllah, beautiful question. And this is what is going on, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. I did it myself many times. And they have done it many times in different states and different cities. In fact, now they formed a committee of...
You did it through an organization, a big fatwa committee to take... What?
No. Even in the field of like individual community or individual city.
Okay.
In fact, they are forming right now, and they did form that a long time ago, moon sighting committee. This moon sighting committee in the state, in the North Canada, in Canada, to sight the moon the way we are saying right now, as if that they are calling every state, every city. If anyone did see the moon and he has witnesses,
okay,
they are able to prove they have sighted the moon of Ramadan by having two witnesses, or maybe sometimes more than two witnesses,
okay,
because we'll come to the issue of like how to prove the Ramadan. Do you need two witnesses or one witnesses? So they say that in the start of Ramadan, most of the Muslim scholars, it's enough one witness.
Okay.
To finish Ramadan, you need two witnesses. And they have beautiful wisdom out of this. We'll talk about that later on.
So if for example, someone in Alabama saw the moon with witnesses, in this case, the rest of the United States supposed to follow this person or follow this scholar or this committee?
Now, this is the other issue regarding of if the moon was sighted. The moon from Ramadan was sighted. It's being proved that by vision, by naked eye, that someone did see the moon of Ramadan. Now, what is the fiqh issue right now? Islamic law issue. Should the whole United States of America follow that sighting?
That's what we will know after the break, inshallah.
Inshallah.
We will go for a quick break. Please stay with us so we know the answer of this question.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
once we talk about tolerance, we need to have this link between life after death and this life, and how tolerance fits into this equation.
First one is equal retribution. The second one would be to suppress your anger. The third one is to clear your heart from any hard feelings.
How did the Prophet and his companions celebrate Eid?
It seems that it's a hot topic for the media and for some politicians everywhere.
In this book, the professor solved the acts of violence on the major religions in the world, includes Islam, Judaism, Christianity, Buddhism, and other religions, and showed that every act of violence has motives behind it.
What are some helpful tips for people? A lot of people live in the West, a lot of Muslims live in the West. They deal with Christians a lot. What's the easiest way of talking to Christians about Jesus?
Within the framework of being the cleanest religion, the cleanest jurisprudence, and in the meantime, the kindest religion to animals.
Something which is, I think, very direly needed by the youth, which is staying firm on the truth.
The entire staff at Huda would like to wish you a wonderful and blessed Ramadan.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Welcome back. Professor Muhammad, before going to the break, we were talking about what if one committee saw the moon in one of the states. Is it an obligation for the rest of the communities around the United States, for example, to follow this committee? Or what if other committees said, well, we didn't see it, so we are not obliged to follow
All right,
the
very
other
good.
committee?
Now, this question now brings us to the issue, because this is two separate issues. The first issue, how and when to start Ramadan, and how and when to finish Ramadan. As we said, majority of Muslim scholars, generally speaking, Muslim scholars, they said we should rely on moon sighting by naked eye, by vision. And in the case of we are not able to sight the moon, we go for the Prophet's solution, alayhi salatu wasalam, by continuing the month we are in 30 days. And we refer to we did mention the opinion of Imam Mutarrif ibn Abdullah al-Shakhir, one of the followers, about calculation, and we explained when that issue was, what the circumstances of it, what is the status of that opinion among most other Muslim scholars. Now, the other issue now, the issue of, suppose the moon was sighted, and some Muslims, they have seen the moon, they have sighted the moon in Saudi Arabia, let us say in Mecca, in Medina, because Saudi Arabia is like a new title, a new name.
Yes.
Long time ago was like, suppose in Hijaz,
Yes.
suppose in Najd, suppose in Yemen, suppose in Sham. So in our modern times, suppose in this country like Saudi Arabia, or maybe Egypt or Syria, they have sighted the moon in Syria. And the question here from Islamic law point of view, should every Muslims in the world follow the Syrian moon sighting?
Yeah, this is a good question.
Or they have not sighted the moon in Syria because they are so busy right now. All right? There's no time to sight the moon.
Yes.
They are sighting something different. What if the moon was sighted in Libya? Oh, we have the same problem. Let's go to Yemen. La ilaha illallah. They have moon was sighted in Egypt. Shaykh al-Azhar, the Grand Mufti of Egypt, the Shaykh al-Azhar has confirmed that tomorrow is the first day of Ramadan. Should every Muslim in this world follow this moon sighting, or every country does have its own independent moon sighting? Or is it the close countries, they should follow one sighting, and the far maybe country, they should follow their own moon sighting? this is what brings us to the issue of Muslim scholars, how they stand in this regard. We have three opinions, three major opinions. The first issue, the issue of start Ramadan and relying on the vision and your naked eye, we have most of Muslim scholars, majority of them, generally speaking. But in this issue, we don't have Muslims, generally speaking, or most of the scholars, or majority of scholars to have an opinion on this issue. We have three opinions on this issue. First one, that was long time ago, on the time of the Sahaba till our time. And we'll stay three opinions. First opinion, if the moon was sighted in one country, every Muslim country, every Muslim should follow that moon sighting. This is one opinion. The second opinion is the opposite. Every country has to have its own moon sighting. The third opinion, it depends how you are close to that moon sighting, how you are far from that moon sighting. Close, you follow that moon sighting. Far, you have your own moon sighting. This is the major three opinions among Muslim scholars long time ago, from the time of the Sahaba till our time. So now if you ask me these questions, your beautiful questions, if the moon sighting committee in Alabama, in California, and other maybe state, they have sighted the moon, should every Muslim in the state follow that moon sighting? I will tell you, they have the same three opinions. But we are able in that case, in that regard, not to enforce one of these opinions, but because we don't have authority, right? In the issue of when you have Muslim authority, Muslim state, the Muslim ruler, he will say, we'll adopt the first opinion. We are adopting right now the second opinion, or the third one, because he has authority to make everyone to be applying what he adopted. We don't have authority in the United States of America. Even if we claim that we are this big organization or that small organization, ISNA, ICNA, IHNA, anything like this, we don't have authority, right?
Yes.
They don't have the influence, the political influence to enforce their opinion. And this is the reality. But they could advise, they could recommend, they could maybe make brochure, they could maybe make a statement through their emails, their internet website, anything like this. But every Muslim can say, I'm not going to follow ISNA in that case, or ICNA in that case. So what do we advise in this regard? Because we have seen these problems in America.
Unfortunately, sometimes it's one family, and they are divided in the same house.
One family, or one masjid, or one mosque, one community. So what I do recommend through my years in the United States of America, first of all, I should consider the United States of America as one country. It is one country.
Sure.
Even we have more than 50 states, we could say it is one country, right?
Yes.
Second, in fiqh, what we do, we put some, they call it principles, on the table. After we finish putting all the principles on the table, we collect all of them, and we make what they call it the conclusion of all the principles to ask or to answer these questions. So we put the first principle. The United States, is it one country or two countries? It is one country, even we have more than 50 states, right?
Yes.
Second principle, is United States close enough to Al-Hijaz, Al-Sham, Egypt, or is too far from it?
It's too far.
It is too far. Is it in the same location on the globe, or on the other side of the globe? If you bring the globe like this, you see United States is in the other side of the globe.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we can see that the United States is not a close country to, like, maybe the closest country to the United States is Morocco, right? Because they are in the far west of Mecca al-Mukarramah.
Yes.
And over that you could see like Andalusia and Spain right now. But the United States is not a close country to like Hijaz or Sham or Egypt, something like this. So I consider the United States of America as a one country, one state, and should have its own moon sighting. That means all Muslims, they live in the United States of America. If the moon was sighted in any part of the United States of America, in my opinion, adopting one of these three opinions to follow this moon sighting, declare Ramadan next day, relying and depending on that moon sighting. And if they confirmed that no one in the state in that day, we're expecting Ramadan, have seen the moon for any reasons. For any reasons. We did not see the moon, even it was not cloudy, it's very clear sky, we are not able to see the moon, or cloudy, rainy, anything like this. We should continue the month we are in, which is Sha'ban in that case, 30 days, and start Ramadan after tomorrow. This is my advice to many centers I have visited. This is my practice in the city I am in, or the city I am to be in, or any place in the United States of America.
That will lead to another question. What if after they said, okay, we will continue the month because we couldn't see the moon, and then at the end of the month they discovered, because it will be shown, they will discover that they were wrong. We had to not continue the month. It has to be the first.
Subhanallah.
Now, for example, a country like Saudi Arabia, they pay something like a penalty for the Muslims when they do this type of mistake. Who gonna pay for this type of mistake to the Muslims?
No, it's a very simple issue. Suppose that after we finished Ramadan, we found out that we made a mistake. And it could happen.
Yes.
It could happen in the issue of Ramadan, it could happen in the issue of Al-Hajj. We have stood in Arafah, not in the 9th day. We have stood there in the 10th day, in the 8 days. It could happen, because we are human beings.
Yes.
It might happen. It is very simple. Suppose that we have found that out, we have made a mistake. That mistake, you have two options. Either you have missed 1 day from Ramadan, or you have fasted 1 day extra. Right?
Oh, yes.
Either that you have missed 1 day from Ramadan, or sometimes maybe 2 days from Ramadan. It's very rare to happen. But most likely to miss 1 day from Ramadan, that you have a shortage of the days of Ramadan, or if you have fast extra day of Ramadan. If you said mistake,
yes.
Right? So in the case that you have missed 1 day from Ramadan, is it must that you have to make up that day? You have some Muslim scholars differences in this issue. Some they said yes, make up that day, no problem. And some said no, you don't have, because you did not
my mistake.
Intentionally make that mistake. So it is like, call it manageable issue. It is solutionable from my English pocket issue. It is not a big issue, because mistake might happen.
Okay.
You could solve it by this way. But the main issue here that you have solved the major problem by telling Muslims in the United States of America, stop fasting in 2 different days. Stop making Eid in 2 different days. As you said, in one family, within the one family,
yes.
Within the one community, within the one mosque, and make all of you as one state, one country, to follow the moon sighting. And it's very simple, as we said. The Prophet ﷺ has made it very simple, and he brought to us a very simple solution in the case that we are not able to see and sight the moon, by continuing the month we are in 30 days. Alhamdulillah, I have witnessed this in the United States of America. Wherever I go, I advise, because all my time I don't enforce. I advise, unless I am in charge of that, maybe fiqh council in that city. But I advise, and I have witnessed this. Alhamdulillah, I have experienced this in a very beautiful way. Wherever the Muslim they are following this opinion, consider the whole United States as a one country, and relying in the moon sighting, in their vision, and following any moon sighting in any part of the United States of America, mashallah, everyone is happy. Everyone is starting his Ramadan with happiness, with pure heart, solidarity, and all and harmony, and all the things, and they continue Ramadan with the same feeling, in the same condition spiritually, and even from thinking about what they are able to have some progress in the next days after Ramadan, inshallah.
I have a question. When we say moon sighting with our eyes, naked eyes, do you mean directly naked eyes, or I can watch the moon sighting through a satellite?
Satellite? You mean?
Satellite. We send the satellite to discover.
No. What I meant here, your naked eye, or some they call it humble tools, what they call that?
Like we cannot use the device.
No.
Through this device we can see.
Yeah. What I mean, what do you call that? Binoculars?
Yeah, something like this.
Right. You could use it because this is like making your vision more clear. You are just helping your vision.
Yes, but what about the satellite?
No, because the space shuttle is outside, and you could see the moon all the time. It is not meant by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We could suggest this answer. No, it has to be what we are able to claim. It is like a vision. It's a moon sighting through your physical sighting, by your vision, by your naked eye. Even if you are able to bring some tools, some humble tools like binoculars or something like this, or sometimes like you wear your eyeglass maybe to help yourself. But in that case, this is what you could use inshallah ta'ala to help yourself to see the moon, because the Prophet was, as we said, in the Ummah, the Prophet wanted to simplify the issue, not to complicate the issue. Now if someone said, they claim this, we are trying to simplify it. We are trying to unite the whole Muslims by calling for calculation. What they did, what the result of it, what the impact of it. Did they succeed in that try? When they transferred the Muslim from the Muslims, the Sahaba, the Tabi'een, the followers, the maybe 13, 14 generations, relying on their vision, moon sighting vision, or moon sighting but by their naked eye. We did not hear Muslims, they were fighting each other in the time of the Sahaba or Tabi'een because they had different moon sighting. Even we have a proof from the very authentic hadith or saying from one of the Sahaba, Qurayb, when he was the servant of Sayyidah Salama, when he sent him to Al-Madinah, and he was in Sham, and they found the people of Medina, they were starting their Ramadan in different day.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, unfortunately, I'm sorry for interruption. We finished our episode now.
To be continued, inshallah.
Inshallah, to be continued next episode. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us for this show. This is the first episode of Ramadan of Islamic Law Today. I would like to thank Professor Muhammad Naim Saie for being with us. Thank you. And inshallah, we will meet next week, inshallah, to be continue about Ramadan and the benefits and the philosophy of the Islamic law of Ramadan and fasting Ramadan. So please, we will be waiting for you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high. To Him we belong, to Him is our return. Life in this world is only a sojourn. To the angels He commanded that man be respected. Shaitan he did not, and so was he rejected. Compared to the angels, we are but clay. As long as Allah we obey, we'll not go astray. As the best of His creation, only us did He deem. This for us is honor, this high esteem. His qudrat it is that cause winds to blow. He gives us provision so that we may grow.